Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed. Yes, Will, thank you for coming on the podcast. Will is been in this game for over a decade now. And he's just a good dude, good guy. We met when he worked at TMZ. And he was like, you worked hard, dude. You were a hardworking guy.
That was my problem at TMZ. I think I worked too hard. They literally didn't like that.
Trust me, I get it. And you worked the tough hours too. Like you were up late at night. Like your hours were. What were your hours when you first started at TMZ?
So my shift was we got there at like 3 p.m. We kind of had like a meeting. You guys know we had a meeting. We kind of talked about. I couldn't come back to the office till 2:45 a.m.
Oh,
and because you had to wait for the clubs to close and see who was going to come out like at 2. So you kind of had to wait for that 2 a.m. crowd at the clubs. And then, if you didn't get anybody, usually I did because I was super good at my job. But you had to wait and then you could finally come back. So by the time I would get home, it'd be 4 a.m. So, because I lived in like Burbank at the time.
This is okay. I gotta know how does someone start in this business? They pick up the camera because obviously there is no college course for, hey, I want to be a street journalist on the streets with a camera in my hand. How did you get into this?
I feel like that's a really funny question. First of all, I love the fact that you use street journalists because that's what I always use. So right after I graduated, I thought I wanted to be a journalist. I was going to be telling the boring news at 6 o'clock and 10 p.m. So I went to school, started studying journalism, hated it, basically dropped out of it, moved to LA. I'm back home and I grew up in Monterey, California. For the people that know, shout out Monterey, California. And so basically, man, I moved to LA because I did have like a couple family members that lived here. And I always loved talking to people. I was never shy. I always liked celebrity culture. But I didn't really know what paparazzi even was. The only thing I had actually heard of paparazzi was the Princess Diana. I really didn't even know what it was. And it's not very glamorous, but TMZ, the show that you guys are familiar with, had a job hiring on Craigslist.
Really? All places, Craigslist.
I got into the business from Craigslist. I applied for the job.
That is so funny. I didn't even know at that time we were posting stuff on
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
It didn't say what it was. It said, "Are you not shy? Are you not starstruck? Would you want to work in a fast-paced environment? Blah, blah, blah." And I was like, well, I like fast-paced environments. And so that's literally kind of what happened. And then I loved it.
I love it. That's great, dude.
But you know what? It's interesting because like I got the job just through friends. I didn't even know paparazzi existed in New York City. When someone's like, it was like a word of mouth thing. Like, hey, would you be interested in the job like be a paparazzi in New York City? I was like, I don't even know paparazzi. Do they even exist in New York City? Obviously, LA is a whole different story, but it's crazy that you found it on Craigslist. And you can't really go to school for this. I mean, you didn't have to go to school for this job. It's just kind of like the School of Hard Knocks. You just learn as you kind of go, but you just have to a little bit stay relevant what's going on in the news.
You learn way more on the fly from this job than school can't. School can't make you be ready for the interactions that you're going to end up having when you're on the streets with a camera approaching people.
You mentioned at the beginning the term paparazzi doesn't have the most glamorous side effects to it. What are your thoughts on the word paparazzi?
Well, I feel like that's funny because I feel like it's a really great question. First of all, I embrace the word paparazzi and I love it because the truth of the matter is, it's one of those things where people say paparazzi, oh, you're being invasive, oh, you're stalking people. when I found out, one of the first things I found out within my first week of going into this business was how many of the shots were set up. How much of it wasn't really any kind of stocking of the store. The truth of the matter is, my job is, the way I look at it as a paparazzi, my job was to ask celebrities the exact questions that everybody wants them to be asked, but they won't do it. So if I got a little hate for that, it was like, okay, you say you hate me, but you're definitely watching. So you're just mostly being a hypocrite if you say you don't like the paparazzi. Because when you open that US Weekly, that's my picture or somebody else's picture, and you like it and you buy that magazine. When you watch a lot of, your Entertainment Tonight or Extra or TMZ, you support these things, you're watching paparazzi photos or videos. So I was able to kind of push that aside and embrace it. When I started my own little business, Paparazzi Gamer, I swear that's not a shameless plug. I'm just saying.
Throw it out there, buddy. Throw it out there.
I wanted to add the word paparazzi for sure, and I stand by kind of honestly giving the people what they want, but they won't do it.
Yeah, it's a good buzzword too, by the way.
It is a good buzzword. It's a clickbaity word.
Yeah. So the first, back to the job. Actually, is the job? Would you say, is it fun? Is it scary? Is there adrenaline for you? Like, what do you see the job as far as like how do you feel about when you do it?
That's a good question, because the funny thing about it is, and of course both of you guys know this too, but I actually found it to be a little bit of everything you said, which is what made me like it so much. Do I think it's fun meeting the richest, most famous, coolest people? Yes, because so many of them have embraced me and invited me to their house, done setup shots with me. So it's one of the funnest jobs in the world. Is fun as a word? Either way. and also I've had, which I glad to tell you, I've had some bad experiences. I had Lynch, who recently got caught up for a DUI, try to fight me outside of One Oak. So, I've had crazy experiences too that were, you could say scary. I, unfortunately saw someone lose their life outside of a club used to be called Suppers, if you guys remember Suppers in Los Angeles. And that was scary. Someone got shot while I was trying to interview Amber Rose. So I've had scary experiences, but that's the truth of the matter is, my job is to talk to the most famous people in the world and try to engage them. I think it's a fun adrenaline rush. I love it.
And thinking back to that first celebrity, who was that first celebrity that you shot? Because that's always the most memorable one. I think.
Kirstie Alley.
What?
Dax's favorite.
By the very first, I was being trained with a guy named Jake Munoz. Some people know him from TMZ.
Yeah, we know Jake, of course.
Right. And the very first celebrity on my training day, I was in the car with him, was at the LAX. It was Kirstie Alley.
And how did she treat you?
She was really cool, and it got on the show. So, like, my very first day.
That is surprising.
My very first day, and what I did was I asked her, I'm sure it could probably still be fun. Paris Hilton had just gotten engaged to some guy she was dating, and like the story was the big ring that she had. I asked her about Paris Hilton, and she kind of made like a snide comment about Paris Hilton, and they used that. So my very first celebrity, paid that I ever spoke to was randomly Kirstie Alley. Look who's talking.
So funny, because she notoriously does not like cameras.
Right.
So I'm very
dude. You know what?
You got her to talk.
I'll tell you what, Dax. Well, I know she blocked you on Twitter, but for me,
did she?
Hey, we don't need to talk about that publicly.
She blocked you?
Well, she blocked me because I brought her French fries. See.
Oh.
So she blocked me once I said I went to a garage sale.
You have a Kirstie Alley French fries thing, as I mentioned Kirstie Alley. That's hilarious. I swear that wasn't planned.
You know what's so funny? Kirstie Alley at the time, this was years ago, because she was living in New York for a little bit. She was staying in New York for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And I actually had a good relationship with her, where I think she was like sort of like, she used to like flirt with me. I felt like she was sort of into me. And then one time, this was more than 10 years ago. I was with a girl. I was dating a girl at the time. And I said, hey, why don't you take a photo with my girlfriend? And she got really like, oh, girlfriend.
Oh.
And she ever since she was
You
like
should
sort
have
of into me.
pursued that, bro. She still got that Cheers money.
I know, dude. I know. It'd been fun. I would have done it for the story, but I felt like she was like sort of like into me for a little bit until like then she heard I had a girlfriend at the time. Then it just all went down from there. You mentioned the Marshawn Lynch story. What happened with Marshawn Lynch trying to go after you?
I went to a club called One Oak here in Los Angeles, and because you guys are in New York, right? Are you guys?
Yeah.
I'm in New York. I'm in Orange County.
Okay,
California.
Okay. So I went to this club called One Oak, and I was just basically waiting outside. This is one of those late nights, almost like 2 a.m. He comes out of the club, huge entourage. I see him, get the camera ready. I don't really remember what I asked him, but I walk up, Rashawn, what do you think about? He pushes his entourage out the way and literally just swings at me, open-fisted, and slams me, hits me kind of in the chest against like the curb, which I wasn't expecting, and it knocked me to the ground. And I fell on the ground, and I was like, oh my God. And like everybody kind of got, and security kind of jumped in, and he kept walking. And I was like, whoa, okay, I guess he doesn't want to talk. And I when he was like far away and wouldn't beat me up, I was like, F you. but he was kind of far away. But, you know, I had that happen. I had a similar thing happen with the football player Deshaun Jackson, too. In Hollywood, once I tried to speak to him, and he started kind of swinging at me, and it was like crazy. That's when I kind of started noticing, not trying to jump ahead too far, but that's when I kind of started noticing most of my weirdest and baddest experiences were with athletes, more so than actors. And yeah,
I think they're also not as used to being filmed coming out of clubs and stuff like that, whereas actors
shouldn't they be?
You think
we're
they
in
should
LA,
be, but
yeah.
I don't think they get the media training like some of like
Right.
a lot of other people get that media training of how do you respond when a camera's in your face.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so you know that's my Marshawn Lynch story.
So here's the thing is, though, some paparazzi, and not saying you because you're one of the good guys, but, you know, I got to imagine there's got to be some people when an incident like that happens, they're like, yes, perfect. I either could sue, I got this great video. What was going on through your head when that happened?
Well, I'll be honest. It definitely caught me off guard. Obviously, the last thing I expected was to be kind of hit in the chest, and then, like I said, I fell, so it was kind of like an awkward. You know, obviously it's the club's ending, so there's lots of people everywhere, and no, I wasn't like, oh, cool, I got you, I'm gonna sue. That's not in general my mentality. Not saying I won't sue someone for like if they punched me or something or whatever, but like punch me in the face or something. But I mean, my honestly, guys, here's what's funny. Not trying to get all deep here. I was more disappointed that I wasn't able to get the shot that I was really hoping that I was getting, that I had spent like 2.5 hours waiting outside for at the time. You know, I was really still trying to kind of like prove myself and to my employers that I could do the job. So to me, it was more like, man, I totally blew this thing that like the office had given me questions for, you know, and it's just, you know, so at the time that was kind of what was in my head.
Yeah, it's funny because
I could 100% relate to that, where you're just like, damn, I worked so hard for this, but I didn't get the outcome that I wanted.
No.
Not even about the celeb acting out, but like, damn, I wanted to have a great video to make the show or whatever.
I had all kind of things prepared for him, you know, and so it was, you know, that happens. That happens.
There was a shitty. I was gonna say that there's a quick story. There's a shitty paparazzi in New York. He doesn't do it anymore. I'll fucking out the guy. The guy's an asshole. This guy named RJ. He was a video guy.
I know RJ.
RJ.
I had a major issue with RJ. Sorry.
Yeah. So this guy,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're not. It was at NBC, and you could do whatever you want outside NBC. You know, like the security guys are actually pretty cool there because they realize, like, they know you're on the street. We could do whatever we want on the street, and they also know. I mean, at least they know they know me, that I am not going to be up in the celebrity's face. Like, they know that I'm not, I'm not a fan. I'm not trying to be within like 4 feet distance. Like, I'm trying to keep a little bit of space between, so they don't have to worry about me. In fact, some of them like me there just so I'm there to document what happens if anything goes on. Anyway, RJ ran 2 Chainz, of all people, and it doesn't matter. 2 Chainz was walking into NBC, and he followed 2 Chainz into the building and starts still filming him, and the bodyguard pushes him, and then he like he slipped or knocked into the wall and cut his head, and he wound up suing 2 Chainz. And it was like, it sucks because stuff like that ruins our relationship for the future for NBC and like the 2 Chainz. I have a good relationship with 2 Chainz, but his team's like, man, these guys are scumbags. Like, you know, you shouldn't have been inside, and it just, you know,
it's like he knew he shouldn't have went inside. He knows you can't go inside.
Yeah, it just,
I know RJ, and I had a bad experience with him too. So if he's watching this, you know, bad.
Yeah, I think he's out of the game unless he made some money from the lawsuit. I don't know what happened.
So, Will, you had mentioned earlier that, you know, this like perception of celebs maybe not liking paparazzi, but a lot of it is kind of a fake facade for the public, and how a lot of these paparazzi shots are set up or arranged or whatever the case is. They know there's cameras going to be outside. On the other side, the flip side, the average person, what has been your experience with average people on the street and how they treat you? Seeing a camera in hand, knowing that Rihanna's inside the restaurant and she's going to be coming out, and seeing all these camera guys, how do they treat you?
It's funny that you say what I mostly got, and outside of like a Craig's or a Nobu, was really way more people being like, oh, I've never actually met a paparazzi. Who's inside? I've always found the public to be very curious and very interested in what I'm doing, and really shocked, and kind of want to wait around, which can mess up the shot, and see what you're doing. The bad experience, and even, you know what? I've also always had good experiences with police officers, kind of knowing that I know what's a public sidewalk and what I can shoot, and, you know, and where I can be and what I can't. You know, I've always had them even be like, oh, who's inside? The bad experiences have always more been the overzealous busboy or the overzealous valet guy who I've had a couple times try to jump in front of my camera, you know, and be like, stop. I've even had them do that when the shot was a setup and they didn't realize it. Those are the experiences I've had. The overzealous worker at the restaurant or place that the person was at. For the most part, the people walking up or kind of visiting, I can't say I personally have had any bad experiences. I think one time I was waiting on Rita Ora when she used to be famous, and I
think Adam made a very similar comment the other day. I'm like, is she not famous anymore?
No, but I think she used to be famous. Whatever. Anyway, when Rita Ora was famous, I was waiting outside of a sushi restaurant for her, and I made a mistake. I was being friendly. I was feeling myself, and there was a girl out there, and she was like, who are you waiting on? And I told her, I was like, I'm waiting on Rita Ora. She's actually in the back. She'll probably be out, in an hour or so. Little did I know, she was actually with Rita Ora. She happened to be outside, like smoking a cigarette or something. So she went in and told her, and they snuck out the back. And what happened is, as they were driving out, she rolled down the window and was like, hi. And I saw her and Rita, and I was like, oh my God. and honestly, it was after that I stopped telling people who was inside, depending on the situation. But yeah, so I got burned.
Which is funny because Rita, out of everyone, like out of all the celebs you could possibly mention, Rita would seem like one that'd be like, oh, he's out front. Okay, let me make sure I go out front.
I agree, but that's not what happened. No, she ghosted me and then had the friend roll down the window and kind of like make fun of me over that.
Pretty funny still.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. What are you gonna do?
How do you find celebrities? How does it work for you?
Right. Now, even though lately I have been focusing more on younger influencers, when I was only doing, movie stars, TV stars, musicians, I always had my hot spots. So, see, to me, there's a place called Craig's. I actually try to avoid Craig's because you can go there when you're bored and always get some kind of celebrity, maybe old Hollywood or the newest, hottest. I always have tried to build relationships with tipsters. So I used to focus in the Hollywood area a lot. And what I did was I talked to people. I have busboys. I had managers. And one of the good things to do was, oh, sorry, my cat was being crazy. My cat just jumped out. One of the good things to do was to meet publicists. And so I really just tried to build relationships, kind of going back to the TMZ days, was constantly networking and building relationships, because I found out fairly quickly, that, like I said, a lot of the celebrities, not all, a lot of the celebrities want their photo taken and want to, and so I really just tried to build relationships. And to this day, every day I get 2 to 3 tips. I don't even always go to them, but I still get tips from relationships I built, 5, 6, 8 years ago, kind of knowing where these people are going to hang, checking their Instagram, kind of finding out who their friends are, checking their Instagrams. And that's kind of how you do it, when it's not a setup shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, when it comes to, since now you focus mostly on influencers.
Yeah.
How different is it for you? Because I got to imagine influencers are like, Will, I'm going to be right here at this time. Please come and film me. Because they're getting filmed by a camera guy. It's kind of like a big credibility boost in the industry.
100%.
When people look over and there's a camera guy filming you as you walk down the street, you're instantly like, who is this person? They're famous.
Who is that?
And a lot of influencers want that cred, right? Yes. They want that clout.
It's something that I only started in 2020 when COVID hit. And I'll be honest, in a lot of ways, it changed my life for the better. And what do I mean by that? It's that even though I still love going out and trying to look for the J-Lo's and the Tom Cruises, but what the difference with the influencers were, they share your photo. They say, hey, fans, go watch this video that Will did with me coming out of BOA. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, the influencers that I started shooting in 2020 helped grow my brand and open more doors for me than any celebrity ever did. Ever.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, the influencers that I now shoot, the younger influencers, they're famous on TikTok, they're famous on YouTube. Some of them do like Nickelodeon stuff and Disney stuff, but they open way more doors because they share. They say, hey, I feel like since 2020, the word paparazzi does not hold the sting that it used to, because the TikTokers and the YouTubers started making it cool to be paparazzi'd. And that changed the game for people like myself, at least.
Are you running into Fletcher Green out there a lot, the Hollywood Fix guy?
I used to see him all the time. He used to buy videos from me. Yeah, he used to, like, a lot of his videos on his channel were my videos. He used to buy them.
Because he was one of the first people to get into the influencer game, which I just looked back, I was like, damn, that's so smart. Like, to really focus on
after me, but yes,
after you, of course.
Yeah, in all fairness, I love Fletch. Shout out to his brand. Nothing against his brand, but you can go ahead and look at the YouTube. In all fairness, I was doing the Viners. I started with the Vine stars, the Cameron Dallas. I have the very first Jake Paul interview. I have the very first Logan Paul interview they ever did. They all did those things with me, but I was also still focusing on the big stars at the time. But I saw that these influencers were going to do something. People mention him, and I always have to say, in all fairness, I was actually before him, but he blew up. So he kind of gets to steal that credibility, But if you really look, Paparazzi Gamer was doing it before then. Like, go watch my interviews with the Vine stars, because I said, I think this might be the future.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to throw that out there.
No, listen, Fletch. Sit down, Fletch. You heard Will.
Yeah, it's like it comes up so often, or at least it used to, and I'm like, I was actually doing that first. He literally used to buy videos from me. Like, I would sell them to this guy, and then he would buy them and put them on his channel, but they were my videos.
So how often are the businesses, the restaurants, hitting you up personally saying, hey, listen, we have, I don't know, this person inside, and we want you to shoot it? And when you do, if they do that, do they ever feed you? Do they ever throw you free food?
That's so funny. Not as many restaurants hit me up now, but I used to have the restaurants a lot. Man, Katsuya, BOA for a while. A lot of those sushi places, they the manager would just text me. I couldn't let it be known that the manager texted me, but people would always be like, how'd you get that tip? And it's like, it's totally the GM of the restaurant that hits me up, and a couple of times I think I might have got a California roll out of it or something, but I never really took too much advantage of eating. You just try to build that relationship. You make it worth it. If it's at their store, you make sure you get their store in the background or their restaurant. You plug, I saw Christy D'Amelio at Flex Gym or something like that, and that's kind of.
Yeah. No, I it's funny. Like for me, it's like if a restaurant's like, hey, listen, we got, I don't know, Pauly Shore here, but we'll give you a meatball parm sandwich if you come shoot him. I'm like, yeah, I'll come for the meatball parm sandwich. Pauly Shore's is extra. I mean, that's just made my night cheaper and easier. Like that's how it worked for me. But for you, the influencers, are they all pretty cool, or is there ego with them, or what's their vibe like? Because some people like see how they dress, and the guys all have bangs, and they're all dressed super cool. But are they
have bangs?
Yeah, they all wear bangs, dude.
The influencers are great. Their moms can be terrible. So,
really?
Yeah, so
What about the dads, like Addison Rae?
There's not very many dads. There's I out of all these influencers that I deal with, there's like 2 that their dad is around. The younger influencers that I shoot, it's all these momagers, these moms, and I actually gonna kind of promote. I actually got to work on a pilot that's coming out on MTV called Momagers. It's gonna be out soon, and I'm very fortunate to get to be a part of that show. And so, like I said, look for that on MTV. But it's a lot of moms behind. I'm talking about the younger influencers that are, that have 12 million and 10 million and Spotify, millions a month Spotify listeners that I work with now. And it's like the kids are great, but every mom, of course, thinks their kid is better than the other kid. So you arrange a shoot, and it's like, well, make sure you get more photos of my son, or make sure you get more photos of my daughter. That's more the issue where I found with the influencers. But once again, I love it, and I love them because it's worth it. Because unlike a J-Lo, I might shoot a whoever, a Piper Raquel or someone like that who has 18 million followers, and they're gonna say, hey, go watch Will's video with me. Go share these photos. So to be honest, to me, once I realized I was able to still make money from the influence, especially during 2020 and 2021, when I had a YouTube page, my YouTube page that was really getting huge numbers. Once COVID kind of lifted up, those numbers kind of dropped somewhat. But during 20 and 21, it was just huge numbers, just huge engagement, and I was like, thank God for influencers.
Absolutely. Well,
I had to embrace the new world.
When you look back at all your videos and all the things that you've shot, what do you think is the biggest story that you ever personally broke?
Oh, wow. Ooh, the biggest story. Oh, yeah. Okay. I have okay, so you said the biggest. Okay, because I feel like I have a few good ones, but okay. Biggest. Okay, now I can say this, and I find it as a flex because as a sports fan, I'm not a huge Kevin Durant fan. I'm just not. I think it's pretty funny on a negative side. See, this is going to make people not like paparazzi, but it's not my fault. I cost Kevin Durant millions of dollars in sponsorship, but I really didn't. I was just talking to him. I was here in Los Angeles, and you can go look this clip up real fast, real easily, at a club. At the time, it was called Henry's, and I was waiting for Kevin Durant to walk out of the club. He walks out of the club. I'm talking to him. It's actually a friendly conversation. And then he opens the door to his SUV, and like a giant bottle of weed falls out. This is technically before.
I think I remember this video.
Yeah, this is a big time clip. Yeah, you were at TMZ ended up at the time, and it falls out, and it's like a whole pandemonium. And the security guards are flipping out. Kevin's flipping out. They're like, stop. And I'll tell you something that a lot of paps know, but I've never publicly said it. I'm going to do it right here on you guys' show. Is when we turned the camera off, Kevin Durant had his boy come out the car and come to me with a stack of money, all hundreds. about this big. You guys know Yori, who used to work with us. He was a pap, and there was another guy. Geez, I can't think of his name. He was a cool dude. He was always messed up. He worked at TMZ. Gosh, cool dude. I can't. Anyways, whatever. Big stack of cash, and he said, "Hey, man, listen. You know, you really could hurt Kevin if you post that video. We'll gladly give you this stack. This is like 5-6 racks, you know, if you would just give us that tape, you know, and pretend that this never happened." And two things happened right there, because first of all, I was still trying to prove myself at the time TMZ. I hadn't gotten my contract yet. And so I was like, if I take this money, even though this is probably like 5-6 grand, which I could desperately use cash, you know, it's amazing. Losing my job wouldn't be worth it, because over, you know, just a couple of months I'd make more than that, you know, and you know, the job paid well. And so I thought that, and also there was another guy, like I said, Yuri and his guy, that were there too, and I wasn't for sure if they were recording. I didn't know them that well, so I didn't want to get caught on camera. And so I said no. And so they got really upset with me that I wouldn't take the money and, you know, delete and give them that SD card. It kind of got scary and aggressive. A couple more of them got in the car, and what I did was just kind of booked it real fast to my car and drove off. And they were kind of trying to follow me, you know, and I just kind of darted off, turned it in, and, you know, it was, that clip was super viral. There was magazine articles about it. The show First Take talked about it. Like they did, you know, it was like, it was all over for like 2-3 days.
Isn't it funny to think if you would have filmed that one today, like no one would care?
People still care, just not as much.
Right. Oh, so what? Weed's legal. There's a dispensary at every corner.
Yeah.
So,
you're a better man than I would have took that $5 grand. I'd be like, oh yeah, and tickets to a game, please. Thank you.
Do I wish I could have taken that money? Yes, but
looking back, like I should have took the money.
What?
Looking back, I'm like, yeah, I would have took the money. Yeah, you're like, yeah,
I should have taken the money. I should have taken the money. I really would. I tell people the honest truth is I would have thought about it, but it has a lot to do, because it was an ex-employee of TMZ, this guy, and he at the time he was starting his own thing, and it was me and him and his guy, and I was like, these guys are gonna set me up. These guys are gonna tell the bosses these are, you know, and so it was paranoia. I didn't take the money. Then when they left, they're like, you should have taken the money. I'm like, you guys. So.
What was so you were working with a company at the time, but what was the video when you obviously you work solo now, you work for yourself, you're an independent worker, right. What was the video that made you the most amount of money now? Well, currently.
Oh yeah, so even though sorry, I couldn't hear you very well. I was trying to turn it up. So now, no longer with the other company that we all worked with, and this is still a few years ago. I was telling you guys off camera about it, but once I was solo and kind of just starting my solo, I made the most money from my shot with Meek Mills. There was the producer Safari, who used to date Nicki Minaj, and obviously everybody knows the rapper Meek Mills. I was interviewing Safari. I was like, hey man, because I knew him. I kind of knew him from around the town. Knew him just around. I saw him all the time. We knew each other, did other photos. And literally while I'm talking to him, and I get this shot so clear, I feel like everybody should go look up Meek Mill Safari fight. You know, you'll see it because it's so crisp. I'm talking to him, holding my camera. A car pulls up. I don't really pay that much attention to it, but for whatever reason, I decide to kind of pan over. And when I pan, Meek Mill's, the famous rapper, gets out the car, looks at him, kind of points to like this, and his goons surround Safari and just start jumping him and his friends. And I'm recording in the middle of this, like, but I say, but me being me, still making sure I get the shot. Like there's all these people fighting, there's cheers and punches, but I'm getting everything. And that was the shot that I shot on my own, not working for anyone, and that I sold. I mean, TMZ did buy it, but many outlets bought it. And when it was done in about a month, I think I made 12 grand from it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And I know people used to make bigger numbers in the Britney days. I wasn't doing it then, but on my own as one single shot, considering that clip's only a minute and 12 seconds, I made 12 grand from that in, less than 4 weeks.
That's great.
So yeah, that was like I was saying, I do well, but one shot, that was probably the best, yeah.
So
12 grand for a minute worth of work.
Is it okay to call you a paparazzi?
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best part about being a paparazzi, about your job?
There's a lot of freedom. If you do it right, you can still make money. I know that people talk about, I've been in the game about 10 years or so now, but I hear that, 13 years ago or 12, whenever the Britney days were, I hear that there was a lot of money, but I managed to parlay it into something, like I was saying earlier, fun and exciting. It's not some boring 9 to 5. I'm skilled enough to do lots of little things at studios and lots of little cinematography things. I love being able to have my own business, make my own hours. And even though I work a lot as a business owner, you guys are business owners, you know how it is. Really, you work 7 days a week. But at the same time, it's still my job is to take good photos and good videos of, whether they're influencers or celebrities, of famous people, and make them look good, make myself look good. And I'm talking and meeting the most famous, wealthiest, coolest people in, all the world. I put it for references up there because obviously everybody's different, but it's like being a street journalist and a photographer is so much fun if you do it right. Mm-hmm. And, I've been on my own now for, almost 7 years. And, and I ain't went hungry yet. It's like, it's fun. And every day, new opportunities open. I just came back from Miami because someone was like, hey, will you come to Miami Fashion Week for us? I'm going to New York in September, like on the 9th, 10th, and 11th, because there's the New York Fashion Week. Being a paparazzi since 2020, being a paparazzi, I feel like the negative has lessened. And now I find it opens doors for me, So, I've even had talks with, like I said, I'm working on a show, a pilot that's coming out on MTV, with somebody. It's not my show, but I'm going to be a part of it. And, that's 100% only because of my paparazzi work.
That's cool.
I want to try something with you. I want to, we've done this before with a few other paparazzi journalists, street journalists, where we mention a person's name, and I'm just curious your thoughts on the person. I want to think what comes to the mind, your experience with them, and quickly go over that person and just share with me your thoughts.
Yeah, you don't don't dive into too much. You don't have to. Just kind of give us your
vibe.
What pops into your mind, really.
Okay.
It's a vibe check. First one, Justin Bieber.
Doesn't like paparazzi, mostly rude, boring.
All right. Ellen.
It's not rude. We'll give you a couple words. She's polite, but keeps it moving. She's polite, but keeps it moving.
Conan O'Brien.
Oh, I love Conan O'Brien. You got me there. Conan, I've had great conversations with. I have a few interviews with him. It's funny. He won't engage you for a long time, but he will be friendly and play with you for, he'll give you a minute or two. And I think he's good for a good soundbite. I like him.
Okay. What about Charlie D'Amelio?
Charlie D'Amelio. I'm not a fan of them. They're not for me.
Okay.
I always found her and her sister to be overrated, boring.
Interesting, considering you are the influencer guy.
I know, exactly. No, I know. But my personal experience with them, not so much, not so well.
Okay.
Addison Rae.
You know what? Real Friendly was one of the main people that would call us and hit us up and then kind of act like she didn't. But Real Friendly, real nice until she started hanging out with Kourtney Kardashian. For a while, she briefly became good friends with. Is it Courtney? Which one's the middle one? Yeah, the oldest one. I'm sorry, the oldest.
Courtney,
the oldest one. So when she started hanging out with her, I noticed that all of a sudden she stopped being friendly. But she's definitely one of those ones who, the tip would go out where she was going to be at, and I always found her to be really, nice. I think it's weird that she's managed to get famous for dancing to other people's stuff, but at the same time, I can't act like I haven't had plenty of great conversations with her.
All right, what about the German legend David Hasselhoff?
You know what's funny? I've only seen David Hasselhoff on a red carpet. I don't have a star. I don't think I have a single video of David Hasselhoff. But I loved Knight Rider as a kid.
Right.
But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't think I've ever really papped him.
Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah. Ben plenty of times. Ben doesn't love paparazzi too much. My experience with him were not very friendly overall, no.
All right. What about his new wife, J-Lo?
Well, now I did see J-Lo last year at BOA, and she was actually really nice. There's video of that actually out there, and she kind of stops to make sure everyone gets the photo. And I've had a few good encounters with J-Lo.
Okay.
Honestly, like she's not gonna talk to you, but she's also not terrible.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever had a one-on-one interaction with J-Lo, so
okay.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah, I mean she's okay. She's not gonna really like give it up to you soundbite wise, but she'll totally stop and let you get a photo and all of that stuff.
Zac Efron.
I don't think I have any experience with him. I've seen him on a red carpet. I don't think I've ever gotten him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone that I know for sure you've had an interaction with, Lisa Vanderpump.
Definitely. I love Lisa Vanderpump. I would hug Lisa Vanderpump right now if she saw me. I really would. I love Lisa Vanderpump. She's really funny. She's really nice. She loves the paparazzi. She's nice. She's the kind of person who, if you were outside of one of her places, she'd have you come in and like take a shot.
Yep.
I've had multiple encounters with Lisa, and it's always been very pleasurable. She's one of those people who I feel like, she is who she is, but when it comes to that kind of thing, she doesn't overly take herself seriously. So it's kind of like, she's not so stuck up. It's like she actually embraces it. So definitely great experiences with her.
Cool.
This person I'm throwing out there, you might have not had experience, but I'm curious if you did. Celine Dion.
I've never even seen Celine Dion in real life. I've never gotten Celine Dion.
No.
Okay.
No.
What about?
I want you guys to name somebody that I hate.
I don't know if you hate this person, but what about Wiz Khalifa?
Okay. Yeah, Wiz isn't actually. The last time I saw Wiz Khalifa, which would be like 4 years ago, he was outside in Hollywood. I can't think of the name of the place now. But anyway, he was outside in Hollywood, and you know what? He was actually pretty friendly. He was rolling up blunts, and he was rolling up blunts and handing out blunts. I did not take one, but he was rolling up blunts and handing out blunts to everybody. And so I guess I would have to say that I like Wiz.
Okay.
I like Wiz. Yeah.
Drake.
Oh, Drake. I've had plenty of encounters with Drake. I think the thing about Drake is he's not going to give you a soundbite. Really, but I mean, I've had him come to Craig's and get out of his car and kind of pose for us, let us get our photos, let us throw out questions. I've come across him at Nice Guy, another club here in LA, and he didn't really give you much of a soundbite. I threw out tons of questions. He's not going to really bite, but I feel like he's cool. He gives it up. I guess I've heard experiences of him being a jerk, but in my many encounters with Drake, I can't say that he's ever been rude to me.
What about, have you ever ran into Dr. Dre? He's an LA guy.
No, I went to his Hollywood Walk of Fame, but no, I wasn't even that. No, I don't have experience with him. No. I'd love to. I love Dr.
I know,
Dre.
that'd be so dope.
Miley Cyrus.
I can't say it. Sorry, what was that, man?
Miley Cyrus.
Miley, yes. I shot Miley at Nobu, which is kind of hard because you can't really get to Nobu. And you know what's funny is I was across the street from Noble and Malibu, there's like I don't know if it's like a McDonald's or something. I forget what it is.
It is. I think it is a McDonald's over there.
Yeah, I think it's a McDonald's. And you know what's funny? She saw me shooting one time video from across the street, and I think there's video of this on my page. And actually walked across the street and let me get photos. So shout out to Miley. Yeah, shout out to Miley.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, like I don't have any.
She has to be one of the coolest, most fun celebrities Hollywood's ever really experienced. Like the just not caring about what people think or how she just is so fun. Speaking of that, let's get into our speed round where we ask you who like some of those, funniest people or whatever you've ran into, and you can just give us a quick answer. So who is the funniest person? Yeah. Who is the funniest person you've ever ran into?
Oh my goodness. You know who I love is funny because that's now that you said that, I just remembered, I don't remember his name. Guy from Community. Oh my God. Okay. There's a guy from the show, Thomas Lennon. Okay.
He's funny.
Great.
He's so good.
Thomas Lennon, who was in Reno 911. He's done other shows and other movies. Every time I see him, this guy has me laughing so hard. There's a video I have with him that also kind of went viral. And I'm talking to him after the movie Get Out. It just came.
Yeah.
Get Out. And so I run into him at the theater here, ArcLight Theater. And he's talking to me and he's like, let me get your camera. So I end up giving him my camera. So he's recording him and I talk. And then he has me get into the trunk of his car and he's filming this whole thing, which is on my page. You should go look it up. And it's hilarious. It's just so funny. And I've ran into him probably like 4 other times. And I know that's a random name, but I swear he always cracks me up.
You know what, though? That's not weird because I think every camera person we have had on here has consistently said Thomas Lennon is either the funniest or the coolest person that they've ever met. And I remember there were so many videos that came into TMZ from the camera guys where he was hilarious and just doing these wild ass things. And how is he not like more famous?
Right. You know what? I actually was saying that like a month ago. I was watching, I think it's Netflix or now that has the Reno 911 episodes. And I was like, to me, this guy should be way more famous. Like he's famous, but he should be he's hilarious. He's nice. He's cool.
We need to reach out to Thomas Lennon.
We need to get him on the podcast. He's funny.
He's great.
Cool.
He's so
nice,
fun.
And you know who else is real?
Who?
Is Dane Cook is real nice too. I want to shout out Dane Cook.
You know who I thought you were going to say? I forgot about Thomas Lennon. Obviously, I didn't forget about him, but another person I thought you were going to name is Jack Black.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a really fun guy. Like he's, just wacky.
I like Jack Black a lot. The last time I saw him and I spent like 5 minutes talking about the video game Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask you, person who's always good for a soundbite.
Oh, that's Thomas Lennon.
Yeah, see, I was like, crap, that's Thomas. that would be Thomas. He's gonna give it up to you. I know I just said Dane Cook. He'll talk to you too. When it comes to someone who's famous that I see often, I feel like the comedians are good, like the Thomas Lennon type. You know what? You said Lisa Vanderpump. She's gonna give you a good soundbite, generally. Man, I'm trying to think. I've run into Tia and Tamara Mari, sister. They're real nice. I had to do the theme song there. They're real nice.
Okay, give me someone on the opposite end who will never talk to you.
Oh, I was waiting for this. Because I want to bash her. The worst celebrity person, human. Creature that I've ever dealt with, and I've unfortunately had to deal with her many a time, it would be Charlize Theron.
Really?
The nastiest human I've ever come. She tried to spit on me. I have video of this on my page, Paparazzi Gamer. She once tried to spit on me. Every time I've ever run into her, she was nasty and gross and angry and screamed, F you, get out of here. The last time I saw her, well, no, that wouldn't be the last. Like the second to last time I saw her, she said, "Get it." Wait, can we cuss on here? I don't even know what the deal is.
Yeah, say whatever the fuck you want to say, Will.
I didn't know if we could cuss. Said, "Get a fucking real job," and she spit. She tried to deliver. She tried to not miss. I jumped out of the way, and she said, "Get a fucking real job." And
well, okay. Question: was she with her kids?
No. She was not. She was with 4 adults. She was with 4 adults coming out of a movie at ArcLight. And she said, now, one time I saw her at a farmer's market, and she was with 2 of her kids, I believe. I'm not for sure how many kids she has, but she has like a black kid, and like she was with the kid. Sorry, I don't know why I put my hands up like that, but she was with her kid, and I was filming her and her only. And that was another time where she literally like got vegetables from the market. I don't even think she paid for them, and like threw it at me. And I've just had the nastiest experiences with her. I think she's fake. I think she's terrible. I don't watch her movies. I don't know. Yeah, like I love the ideal of Mad Max, but I couldn't enjoy the movie Mad Max because she's in it. So it was like,
wow. I did not realize that she could be so brutal out there to people.
By far the nastiest. And you know who else has been really, really nasty to me? Halle Berry.
Really?
Interesting.
I know that she's not a fan. I know that she's not a fan, but again, it goes back to when she's with her kids. Was she with her kids at the time?
Nope. So this was at a place. It's not around, it's not around where it used to be. A place called Madeo. It used to be real famous here in LA. You guys probably know it, but I think there might be a new one now somewhere. But anyways, I got her more than once going there. She liked that place. She would go there, once or so every week or two, and when she was in LA, and she was always so nasty, and it really hurt me because I actually was always such a fan of her. I mean, she's beautiful, at least in the 90s. And, and I always was such a fan. I even tried to approach her almost as a fan more than a paparazzi street journalist. And she was just so nasty to me the last, 4 encounters I had. And it really sucks. They say you don't want to meet your idols or whatever. Not that she was an idol, but she was definitely someone I liked. And it really bothered me how nasty she has always been to me.
Who is the prettiest in person?
Ooh, who's the prettiest in person? Now that I wasn't prepared for. Let me see. There's some gorgeous people. Now, let me think. Okay, let me think here. You got me here on this one. I really... I'm trying to think. Okay, how about this? More so, it's not so much the prettiest, but who I thought really looked like themselves. I thought that Mariah Carey looked really together and well together when I saw her in real life. I always thought maybe when I saw her that she would be like misplaced and plastic or gross. And I know this is not directly your question, but I really like the way she looks when I see her. I have always thought that Zendaya was gorgeous on TV and in real life, and she's also really nice. I haven't seen her lately, but when the first Spider-Man movie came out, she was still willing to give me 5-minute sound bites, and she's also really pretty. I can't think of too many. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm a married man,
Okay, let's get you out of the woods here. What about the best looking male celebrity you've seen?
Oh, that's my boy Tom Cruise.
Yeah?
That's my boy Tom Cruise.
Even with all that crazy juice flying off of him?
Yeah. Screw all the crazy juice. Screw all the crazy juice. Tom Cruise is a handsome fella and super nice. And every time I've ever seen him,
he's never out. He never gets
I've seen him
papped.
3 times. Twice at Kimmel, twice at Jimmy Kimmel, and he came down the row and signed for every fan, talked to everybody. I mean, took selfies and stuff. I'm talking for like an hour. And so twice at Jimmy Kimmel, and then I also got to shoot him at San Diego before Top Gun came out. I got invited to that, and so and the brother looked good. He was in his little suit. He's real short, and you don't realize that on TV until you see him in real life. You're like, oh, this guy looks, he's short, but handsome fella, good looking guy,
So, He is very rare to be seen out. So the fact that you've seen him
I've
three
seen him
times is
3
pretty
times.
crazy.
He is rare, but I guess I should count that as a privilege. I've gotten him 3 times.
Absolutely.
Who do you run into? Who's the celebrity that you run into the most?
Oh, okay. You know what's funny is that kind of starts being like the older people, like the David Fosters. The people who you see the most are the ones that do like the Craigs. So like the David Fosters, honestly, like a Lisa Vanderpump. Gosh, I can't think of the older lady's name. There's an older actress. I don't know. Anyways, I can't think of her. Jeff Franklin. Jeff Franklin's the creator of Full House. These are people that I see like every day when I used to go out, and I kind of just got over seeing. I mean, that's really it that I can think of that I saw all the time. A couple of the Real Housewives I would see a lot. I stopped doing like the Craig stuff of late just because there's too many paparazzi there. Mm-hmm. To me, there's no money there anymore.
Yeah. All right. My last question for you is, who loves the attention the most?
Oh, who loves the attention? Well, I mean, who loves the attention the most and pretend like they don't would probably be the Kardashians. I would have to say who makes sure every outlet knows they're going to be at Craig's or Nobu, the Kardashians, but don't really talk to people.
Who's tipping? Okay, when the Kardashians going out, who's that tip coming from then? If it's not coming from them,
publicists, their PR team. It's coming from them. It's not Kim herself or Kylie herself, but I mean, I'm assuming they have plenty of managers. All I know is that the last time Kim came to Craig's, I got the call from like 5 different sources. And when I got there, there were 60 paps there who all got the call from 5 different sources that she was going to be there around 9:15. She showed up like 9:30.
For someone who always wants the cameras there, she never says a damn thing to
right,
the
that's
cameras.
That's what I'm saying, but then she won't talk. But someone who loves the attention but then won't talk is Kim Kardashian specifically.
Yeah.
Like, make sure. Oh, Avalon. I got a call for her. This is like that's like 2 years ago now, but that's the older one. But even that one, they made sure everybody knew that she was going to be there, pulling up in the back in a black SUV. But then, didn't talk. While someone who loves the attention still, but considered old school, like Paris Hilton, but she's actually really nice and really friendly still. So, I find it hypocritical when you desperately want the attention, but then you act like you don't. It's like, it's weird. Like if you go to a place like Craig's that's known for paparazzi being there, you go there dressed to the 9 in your nicest car and all your makeup, and then act like you're shocked that paparazzi's there.
100%.
It's dumb and it's lame, and I don't get these people that do that.
Yeah. Well, listen, Will, you got to come back on again, bud. It's always good seeing you, good talking to you. You got so many more stories that you got to come back on. Thank you for doing the podcast. I know we've been trying to get you on for a while, but thank you for doing this.
Oh my God. I'm a fan of what you guys are doing. It's really cool. The entertainment world's a lot of fun. There's room for everybody.
Paparazzi Gamer. It's a great Instagram account.
Paparazzi Gamer.
The Paparazzi Gamer. You get to catch up with Will and what he's doing. It's fun. It's just cool to see live through your lens and see all the people you experience, because you just see so many people that it's wild.
I do. I try to work every day. Right now, in about an hour, I'll be out in the streets. So, hey, man, I thank you guys so much for having me. I'm big fans of both of you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Will, for joining us. Make sure you follow him on IG at the Paparazzi Gamer. Also, go subscribe to him on YouTube. Also, the Paparazzi Gamer. There you can see all of his videos. Search up some of the ones that he talked about today. Thank you, Will. Thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
All right, guys.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.